"We're using your vacation home for our anniversary," my parents announced. A $1.2 million cabin in Aspen. I'd never offered it. Dad said, "Family shares." I replied, "Enjoy." Then I called property management. Update access for Matthews' family when they drove 8 hours and couldn't get in. "My name's Kevin Matthews. I'm 34, and I never thought I'd be that guy on the internet writing a long story about his parents. I own 2 restaurants. I work stupid hours, and I always figured my biggest drama would be a broken fridge on a Saturday night, not my mom sobbing on the phone outside my own front door 8 hours away. If you told me a few years ago that family vacation would turn into you're locked out of the $1.2 million cabin you tried to steal from me, I would have laughed and gone back to prep lists. But here we are. And yeah, I know how this sounds. So me, I'm Kevin, restaurant owner, the responsible one in my family since I was like 12. Oldest of 3, unofficial family IT guy, free therapist, and apparently lifetime financial aid office. I run a mid-range bistro downtown and a smaller brunch place across town, which means I basically live in grease-stained black t-shirts and half-charged AirPods. I wake up to supplier emails, fall asleep to inventory spreadsheets, and my phone battery dies more than I do. I've got my flaws. I stress-eat fries standing over the trash can. I doom-scroll Yelp reviews at 2 a.m. like they're holy scripture. I have this gross habit of biting the skin around my nails when I'm anxious, which is a lot. I answer work texts during dates, forget to drink water, and think, I'll rest after this week, every week. I've also got my little superstitions. I never say it's a Sloan night out loud, because that curses you. If a big catering order comes in, I knock on the stainless steel counter 3 times. On opening nights, I wear the same beat-up black sneakers because they know how to handle bad luck. Money stuff? I don't talk numbers with people I don't trust. That's a rule, because where I grew up, money was never just money. It was control. It was guilt. It was, remember who helped you. In my family, my role is simple. Kevin's the one who made it. Kevin has money now. Kevin will fix it. My parents say it like it's a compliment. It never feels like one. The cabin in Aspen was supposed to be the one thing that was just mine. Not a restaurant, not a loan, not a temporary help us out. Just a quiet place I bought after a decade of 80-hour weeks, burnt fingertips, and taking double shifts no one else wanted. It's managed as a short-term rental when I'm not there, because I'm not an idiot. Houses don't pay for themselves. I didn't buy it to flex. I bought it because for once, I wanted to stand in a place and not hear kitchen tickets printing in my head. Anyway, the night this all started, I was at my parents' place for Sunday dinner. I'd just finished a brunch shift, my clothes still smelled like bacon and coffee, and I was half asleep at their dining table, pushing peas around my plate. My mom, Linda, was scrolling on her phone, smiling at something. My dad, Tom, was on his 3rd glass of wine, lecturing my younger brother, Nate, about steady careers, while Nate pretended to listen. Mom suddenly looked up, bright and casual, like she'd just remembered something cute. "Oh, by the way," she said, waving her fork like it was nothing, "we're using your vacation home for our anniversary." I blinked. "Sorry, what?" She rolled her eyes, like I'd missed an obvious memo. "The cabin," she said. "In Aspen. We're going for our 40th. Just the 2 of us. Maybe a few friends. Romantic getaway." My fork froze halfway to my mouth. "I didn't know you were going to Aspen," I said slowly. Dad snorted. "Oh, don't start, Kev. Family shares." He raised his glass at me like he was toasting the generosity I hadn't actually offered. "You don't mind. You're not even using it." Nate smirked into his mashed potatoes. My sister, Jenna, didn't look up from her phone. I just sat there, heart thudding, hearing the way Dad said it. Not "can we go?" Not "would it be okay?" Just a decision. Already made. With my name on the mortgage and their bags mentally packed. Here's the thing. That sentence, family shares, didn't come out of nowhere. It's basically the family motto, right after "don't upset your mother," and "Kevin will figure it out." We didn't grow up rich. My parents were classic paycheck-to-paycheck people who still somehow bought new TVs every Black Friday. Dad worked in construction management. Mom bounced between admin jobs. We weren't starving, but money was always this storm cloud. Bills on the counter, arguments in the kitchen, my parents whispering about overdraft fees when they thought we couldn't hear. From the time I got my first job washing dishes at 15, my money wasn't really mine. It was, "Kev, can you put gas in the car until Friday?" It was, "we'll pay you back when taxes hit." Spoiler, they never did. In college, I stayed in-state, worked nights in a crappy diner, and sent money home every month because your little brother needs cleats and your sister's braces aren't covered. I didn't complain. I thought that's what you did. You help. You're a good son. Then I fell in love with restaurants. The chaos, the adrenaline, the tiny high when a table said that dish was the best thing they'd ever had. I busted my ass, climbed from line cook to sous chef to head chef, and eventually, after years of saving and signing my life away on loans, I opened my first place. My parents came to the opening night. Dad shook my hand like I was a business associate. Mom cried, but she still whispered, "Don't forget where you came from." I didn't. Trust me. They made sure. Anytime I posted a new menu or a photo of the restaurant on Facebook, the comments would start, "So proud of you," from relatives. And from Mom, "Our boy is doing so well. He insists on helping his family." And that's how I ended up paying Jenna's last semester of college after she forgot to apply for aid, Nate's DUI lawyer, my parents' property tax 1 year because they miscalculated, the medical bill for Mom's outpatient surgery because the insurance messed up. Every time, it was framed as temporary, as an emergency, as, "We'll pay you back when we can." There's always a win. It never comes. When I bought the cabin, I didn't announce it. I was tired. Tired of seeing the dollar signs roll in behind my mom's eyes anytime I mentioned good news. I closed on it quietly, told exactly 3 people: my business partner, my best friend, and my accountant. Of course, nothing stays secret forever. My cousin found the rental listing online because the algorithm recommended it to her. She texted my mom. Screenshots flew around faster than I could say non-refundable cleaning fee. My phone blew up. "Kevin," from Mom. "Is this your place?" "Wow, big man," from Nate. "Must be nice," from Jenna. That night, she called. "Why didn't you tell us?" Mom demanded, skipping hello. "You bought a whole mansion in Colorado and didn't think to mention it." "It's not a mansion," I said. "It's a cabin. 2 bedrooms, a loft. And I just wanted one thing that wasn't a group project." Dead silence, then a sharp laugh. "We're family, Kevin. We don't hide things. Family shares." I made the stupid mistake of explaining the business side of it. How the mortgage was high, how property taxes in Aspen were no joke, how I needed it rented most of the year just to break even. I mentioned the property management company and the digital lock system, thinking facts would calm her down. Instead, it did the opposite. "So you trust strangers in your home," Mom said, voice icy. "But not your own parents?" After that, the cabin became this symbol in every argument. If I said I couldn't cover something, Mom would sniff. "Should have thought of that before you bought your little ski palace." Dad would joke to relatives, "Ask Kevin, he's got Aspen money now." I tried to compromise. I told them, very clearly, "Look, if you want to go sometime, just ask in advance. We'll check the calendar. If it's not booked, you can stay. I just can't cancel paying guests last minute. That's my income." They said, of course, and I let myself believe them. Which brings us back to that Sunday dinner. After Mom casually announced they were using the cabin, she slid her phone across the table. On the screen was a group chat with some of their friends. Photos of the cabin. My cabin. A link to the rental listing. Her message at the top: "Tom and I are going here for our anniversary. Our son owns it, perks." My stomach dropped. "How long are you going for?" I asked. "A week," she said. "End of the month. We already told everyone. We might invite the Clarks to join for a couple nights." She looked at me like she expected me to be honored. "Did you check the dates with me?" I asked. "Kevin," Dad cut in, annoyed. "Stop being dramatic. It's your place. We're your parents. You're not renting it to strangers over us." I pulled out my phone under the table, thumb trembling as I opened the management app. I scrolled to the end of the month. The cabin was booked solid. High season. A family had already paid in full for that exact week. "Mom," I said quietly, "there's already a booking. I can't just..." She waved her hand. "Cancel it. You'll survive 1 week without rent. It's our 40th. We deserve this." Dad nodded like this was settled. "You can comp some other week for those people. Or give them a restaurant voucher. Think big picture." Jenna finally glanced up. "Yeah, Kev, it's not that deep," she mumbled. "It's not like you can't afford it." I stared at my parents, at the screen with the booking info, at the faces of some random family whose vacation I'd be nuking. And I realized something ugly. My parents never once asked, "Can you?" Only, "You will." On the drive home that night, my phone kept lighting up with messages from Mom. Pinterest links for Aspen anniversary ideas. Screenshots of hot tubs. "Can you make sure there are fluffy robes? Do you have champagne glasses there? Bring extra blankets next time you visit." I drove in silence, fingers clenching the steering wheel, the mountain road hours away but already weighing on me. By the time I pulled into my apartment parking lot, One thought was echoing so loud in my head I couldn't ignore it anymore. If I gave in again, this would never stop. And if I didn't, I was finally going to find out what happened when I told my parents no for real. I tried to do it the polite way first. A couple days after that dinner, I called Mom while I was doing invoices in the office at the restaurant. It was a slow mid-afternoon, dining room quiet, hum of the fridge the only sound. She answered on the second ring, already in a good mood. "Hey, birthday boy," she said. "It wasn't my birthday. I was just looking at hiking trails near the cabin. Do you have good knives in the kitchen there? I'll do some cooking, give you a break from your fancy chef stuff." She laughed like we were on the same team. "Mom," I said, "we need to talk about the dates." Instant sigh. "Kevin, don't start." "I'm not starting. I'm trying to explain. There's already a family booked that week. They paid months ago. If I cancel, I get penalized, they get screwed, and I lose thousands. It's not just an empty house waiting for you." She was quiet for a beat, then her tone flipped. "So money is more important than your parents' anniversary now?" "Here we go." "That's not what I said," I replied, jaw tight. "You can go literally any other week that's open. I'll work with you. I'll even block dates if you tell me ahead of time. But I can't cancel this one. It's too close." Behind me, I could hear one of my line cooks banging pans in the kitchen. Lunch prep, real life, bills, payroll. "Tom," Mom called away from the phone. "Your son says we're not allowed to use the cabin for our anniversary because he wants strangers' money more than his parents." I closed my eyes. Dad's voice came booming through the speaker. "Are you serious, Kevin? After everything we've done for you?" I actually laughed. It came out sharp and humorless. "Everything you've done for me." I repeated. "Watch your tone," Dad snapped. "We raised you. We supported your little cooking dream. We let you live at home rent-free. You kicked me out when I was 19 because I wouldn't change my major," I reminded him. "That's not," he started, but Mom grabbed the phone again. "You know what?" she said. "Forget it. You're not canceling the strangers. We get it. We're not your priority. We'll still go. We'll just work around them." I frowned. "What does that even mean?" "We'll use it before they arrive," she said. "We'll leave the place spotless. They'll never know. It's our family home, Kevin. You don't get to gatekeep your own parents." "Mom, that's not how any of this works," I said. "There are liability issues, key codes, insurance. The management company." "Oh, the management company," she mocked. "Do they love you more than we do now? Are they your real parents?" Something in me just snapped. I thought about all the wire transfers labeled helping them out. The nights I stayed late at my restaurant, feeding them for free while they invited friends and bragged about my success. The time I postponed upgrading my kitchen equipment because Dad just needed a little cushion for a bad investment. I thought about a family from Texas who had booked that week months in advance, saved up, planned their one ski trip of the decade. And then I pictured my parents rolling in like royalty, calling it theirs. "You can't go," I said quietly. Silence. "Excuse me," Mom said. "You," I repeated, "cannot go that week. If you show up, you won't have access. I'm not canceling the booking, and I'm not letting you squat around it. I'm done letting you treat my stuff like it's a community resource." There it was, the word done hanging between us. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Tom," she said sweetly, "did you hear that? Our son says we can't go to his house. We're banned." Dad came back on, voice low and dangerous. "You listen to me," he said. "You are nothing without this family. We've carried you. We've given you everything. And now you want to play big man and lock us out of a house we helped you get. You didn't put a cent into it," I said, and my voice shook now, from anger, not fear. "I have the bank statements." Dad scoffed. "We gave you a roof growing up, food, rides to interviews. That's not money to you. That's being parents," I said. "You don't get equity for doing the bare minimum." He went quiet. Then, "You ungrateful." I pulled the phone away from my ear, heart pounding. Behind the glass, I could see my servers starting to set tables. Normal life. People who didn't think they owned me. "Okay," I said, and I cut him off. "I'm not doing this. Go or don't go. But you're not staying in the cabin. You want a trip to Aspen? Book a hotel like everyone else." "Kevin," Mom shrieked. "Don't you dare. Love you." I lied and hung up. My hands were shaking. I had to sit down. The rush of guilt hit first. Years of conditioning. You don't hang up on your parents. You don't talk back. You definitely don't tell them no. Then, slowly, Another feeling started to creep in under the panic. Relief. For the first time, I'd actually said what I meant instead of twisting myself into knots to make them comfortable. That relief lasted exactly 20 minutes. Then my phone buzzed with a text from Mom in the family group chat. From Mom. Since Kevin is being difficult, Dad and I are still going to Aspen for our anniversary. We're using his cabin because family shares. Don't worry, we raised him better than this. He'll come around. They decided for me. Again. And that was the moment I realized. If they were going to treat my boundaries like a suggestion, I needed more than words. I needed control. So I opened the property management app. Then I called my rep, Amy. Hey, Amy, I said, forcing my voice steady when she picked up. It's Kevin Matthews, Aspen Cabin, Unit. Yeah, that one. I need to update access for an upcoming stay. No problem, she said. What's changing? I looked at the family group chat still lighting up on my screen. Effective immediately, I said. Nobody gets into that house without a confirmed booking under their name. No early arrivals. No, we're just family. If the Matthews family shows up without a reservation, I exhaled. Deny access. And tell them to call me. I didn't remind them of anything after that. I didn't argue in the group chat when Mom wrote paragraphs about sacrificing so much for ungrateful children. I didn't respond when Jenna sent me screenshots of Mom crying all afternoon. I went to work. I ordered produce. I yelled about undercooked chicken. I pretended the countdown in my head to their trip wasn't real. The week of their anniversary, I watched the calendar like a hawk. Day before, they posted a picture on Facebook. 2 suitcases, matching neck pillows. Caption, off to celebrate 40 years in our son's Aspen home. He's so good to us. I stared at the word hour until the letters blurred. The morning they drove up, I was deep in brunch chaos. Eggs everywhere, printers spitting tickets, a server crying because table 6 didn't like their avocado toast. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and told myself that if something truly catastrophic happened, the property manager would call the restaurant directly. Around 5 p.m., as the dinner prep started, my watch buzzed with a silent notification. Mom, 3 missed calls. Dad, 1 missed call. Unknown, 1 missed call. Then a text. Mom, code isn't working. Send new one now. We're in the snow with groceries. I stepped into the walk-in cooler where it was quiet. I typed back. Me. If you don't have a booking under your name, you won't have a code. You were told this. 3 dots. Then, Mom, Kevin, stop joking. We've been driving 8 hours. The lock says access denied. Fix it. A second later, the unknown number called again. Property management. I answered. Hey, it's Kevin, I said. Hi, Kevin. It's Amy, she replied, sounding very calm. Your parents are here. They're insisting they have permission to stay, but there's no booking. Just confirming you still want us to deny access. Through the phone, I could faintly hear my mother in the background, raising hell. Yes, he does, she yelled. He's our son. He said we could. My throat closed for a second. This was it. The point you usually fold. I pictured their faces, their age, their long marriage. I pictured my bank account, my staff, my stress. I pictured the family from Texas checking in tomorrow, excited. Yes, I said quietly. Keep the door locked. They do not have authorization to enter. They need to find alternate lodging. Amy paused. Okay, she said finally. We'll handle it. I'll tell them to call you. Just a heads up, they're upset. That's not new, I said, trying to joke. When I hung up, it took me a full minute before I could move. The air in the cooler suddenly felt too thin. Then my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Mom, how could you do this to us? Mom, we are standing outside your house. Dad, open the door, Kevin. Mom, there are people watching. This is humiliating. Then she called. I answered. Her voice came through raw and furious. I hope you're happy, she spat. Your father is freezing, my hands are numb, and we look like idiots because our own son locked us out of his home. You locked yourselves out, I said, forcing my voice steady. I told you not to go without a booking. Months ago, I told you I wouldn't cancel the guests. You went anyway. You are making us stay in a motel, she cried. On our anniversary. Do you have any idea how cruel that is? You chose to drive 8 hours without confirming anything with me. I said. You chose to ignore what I told you. That's not my responsibility. We raised you, she shouted. We fed you. We. Yeah. And I've paid your property taxes, your medical bills, Jenna's tuition, Nate's lawyer. I snapped. the words bursting out. I bought my own place. I pay that mortgage. I pay the management. I pay the repairs. I pay when people trash the place. This house is not a toy you get to pick up when you're bored. Dad grabbed the phone. You're embarrassing us, he said, voice low. People are staring. I almost laughed. Now you know how it feels, I said. Every time you announce to the world that I'll bankroll whatever you want. Every time you call my stuff. Ours like I'm your credit line. This is your mother, he hissed. This is my boundary, I said. You don't get to stomp over it because you're uncomfortable. He was quiet for a long second. Then, with a voice I'd heard 1,000 times when I was a kid, you'll regret this. He hung up. The guilt slammed into me harder than any heat wave. For a second, I thought I might throw up. Then my sous chef cracked the door open. Hey, boss, she said carefully. Table 12 is asking about the risotto. Right. Life. Work. Responsibilities that actually appreciated me. I shoved my phone into my pocket and went back to the line. Later that night, after close, I finally opened the family group chat. It was a mess. Mom had written a whole essay. We drove 8 hours. We brought groceries. We planned a beautiful week. And our son decided we didn't deserve to be in his house. He cares more about strangers than his own parents. I guess money does change people. Jenna. Wow, Kev. That's cold. Nate. Dude, for real? You couldn't spare 1 week for mom and dad. I stared at the screen. Then I opened my banking app. I scrolled through years of transactions. Line after line of M, Matthews/L, Matthews, with amounts next to them. $700 here. $2,000 there. $500, $1,200, $3,800. I took screenshots. Not all of them. Just enough to make a point. Then I dropped them in the chat. Me. Since we're doing this publicly, here's a partial list of things I've paid for in the last 10 years. Jenna's tuition shortfall, $5,000. Nate's DUI lawyer, for $1,500. Mom's outpatient surgery bill, $2,300. Parents' property tax, 2019, $3,200. Dad's bridge loan for his truck, $6,000, never repaid. Miscellaneous. Emergencies, I stopped tracking, $10,000 plus. Total, around $31,000. Not including free food, holidays, and interest I never charged. The Aspen cabin, 100% paid for by me. Mortgage, paid by me. Repairs and management, paid by me. You have not contributed a cent to that property. You've had years of help. One time I say no, and you call me cruel. For a minute, no one said anything. Then my aunt, the one who usually stayed out of drama, finally chimed in. Aunt Lisa, I had no idea, Kev. That's a lot. I'm sorry. A cousin. Wait, they made you pay property taxes? Jenna, why are you bringing up old stuff? That's family. Me, exactly. Family, not a bank. You don't get to demand access to everything I own and then act like I'm evil when I put a limit somewhere. You went to Aspen without a confirmed stay. That's on you. Mom started typing. Deleted. Started again. Then she posted one last message. Mom, enjoy your money, Kevin. I hope it keeps you warm when you're old and alone. Then she left the group chat. Nate followed. Jenna stayed, but went silent. I stared at Mom left the chat, like it was a gravestone. I won't pretend I wasn't wrecked. I sat on a crate in the back hallway of my restaurant and cried like a kid. Ugly, hiccuping tears. My dishwasher pretended he didn't see. But even through the grief, there was this thin, steady thread of something else. Peace. No more vague threats. No more we'll see. The line was drawn. The next day, the family from Texas checked into the cabin. The management company sent me a photo of their kids building a snowman in the yard. Guests arrived, all good, Amy texted. I stared at the picture for a long time, then put my phone down. For once, I didn't feel guilty about choosing strangers over my parents. Because those strangers followed the rules, respected the space, and paid what they agreed to pay. My family. They'd been overdrawing my account for years. It's been a year since the Aspen incident. My relationship with my parents is basically dead. Mom blocked me. Dad sends a flat, happy birthday text I ignore. My siblings keep their distance too. Holidays are quiet now. Last Thanksgiving I skipped going home, closed the restaurants early, and fed my staff instead. My sous chef said working for me feels like family, without the guilt trips, and I almost cried in the walk-in. The cabin's fine, booked more than ever. Sometimes I go alone in the off-season, sit on the deck with coffee, and listen to nothing. After that mess, I put everything in writing. No free stays, even for family, only real bookings and deposits. I set a small family budget in my finances, and when it's gone, it's gone. I also started therapy to finally untangle 30 years of you owe us. Years of you owe us. Years of you owe us. Years of you.